We're live, right?
Yep, we are now.
Okay. One last throat clear. Intubated. I wasn't intubated. Intubated is when it's dangerous and they put a pipe down your throat, right? Breathing tube is not intubation.
Well, it all is intubation.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's just the process of doing it.
Oh. I remember that from ER, the TV show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you were intubated.
Was I?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It just was under like a controlled. I mean, anyway.
You got
intubated.
A lot of memories.
Yeah.
I do have some. And
wait, you don't have a memory of that though, do you?
No, I have a memory.
Oh my God, I was going to say they did not give you the right meds.
Yeah, I have a memory of right before I fell asleep. It honestly felt like they just grabbed one person was at each side of the bed and they just spun it around as fast as they could. I was just like, whoa, I'm asleep. Yeah. Yeah, it was like, and they played country music in this operating room, so I don't know if I let my God. Yeah.
What the?
I was like, "This is how you want me to go out?" And he made some kind of quirk about, "I'm gonna give you a margarita," and I think one of my last words were, "I'm a bourbon man." Before we begin, you guys, it's that time. That's right, sponsor mentioned. Speaking of Doer Activewear, you guys. Activewear, pants from plants, the best fitting, coolest looking pants and shirts you can wear while riding around town, walk straight into a proper restaurant or boardroom if you got to do that whole boardroom thing without even blinking. Stretchy, comfortable, rugged as hell. Use the link at Packfiller and the code Packfiller15 to get your style on and off the bike. It's warm here, so I don't think any of us have them on. Hey, Doer, we could use some shorts. Mojo Cyclery and Reynolds Wheels, you guys. I want to throw a big thank out to these guys. Jackson is our first believer in the magic of Reynolds. Jackson, what are your newest hoops and thoughts on those hoops?
They are the Reynolds Black Label 65 millimeter deep millimeter, right? Yeah, millimeter deep wheels, and they're I can tell a large difference between all of the wheels I've ever used. It's responsive. It feels a lot faster in a flat on the flats, but also nice on the uphills.
Really?
So yeah, it got me second in our local crit. So.
Yeah. Well, I can't say what I want to say by because that's
RCH.
Yeah. Look that one up on Google, everybody. Big thanks to Mojo Cyclery for taking care of us. They are Spokane's home for gravel, yet they do so much more. Apparently, head over to mojocyclery.com or do the right thing and visit them in the Spokane Valley at 1405 North Argonne. Great to be back with our friends from Mojo. Untapped maple, folks. Flavor, fuel, fast. We are firm believers in the brilliance of combining great ingredients with the pure, clean energy of Vermont maple syrup. Everybody here is a believer. I believe David's the only one who isn't a true believer yet. But
That's what brought him back from the 9th round.
It did.
Weekend.
It was.
I
can't wait.
Shared.
We can bash him.
Yeah,
so we can.
I know.
So last week he got to bash you.
I know.
This week you get to bash him. I have even gone the way of the bulk with the portable flask, the little toteable flask. It's kind of nice. I don't mind it. It's it's kind of a cool looking bottle. Use the link at Packfiller. Finally, you, the listener, that is right. You can help us take us to the next level. I hate this read, but they tell me I need to do it. After multiple requests from listeners, we have switched over to a GoFundMe format for the advanced improvements of the Packfiller. Many of you guys don't want to get tied down to a monthly subscription. Completely understandable. I don't either. From the upcoming monthly video magazine Velo update to events and even an online presence, I'm in the talk of actually teasing some sort of a magazine style of a format. We're building the empire. Need your help. Come be a founding member at Packfiller. So let's do this, shall we? Okay. I'm going to clear my throat all night. I'm going to try to do it off mic. First beer in 24 hours.
Wow.
And I'm not like twitchy or going through withdrawals or anything.
No DTs. Well, that's good to know.
Exactly.
First beer in 24 hours.
24
Not
hours.
even like days.
Yeah,
24 hours.
I was actually looking at my wife in the hospital bed yesterday, and I was going, I can't wait to get home and have a beer. Nurse looks and goes,
No.
no,
No, bud.
you're still on anesthetic. I'm like, will that just make it feel better? Oh, well. Let's do this. We are one of us is 1 year older. One of us is hopefully a category higher. One of us was operated upon. One of us is moving. One of us is the guy who pulls incessantly. And one of us had to out of sheer spite, but he's not here. All of us have had a race under our belts, and all of us make up the Packfiller Hit Squad, which is the new hashtag thanks to Sam. Welcome to Life on Two Wheels. Welcome to the Packfiller Podcast. I am Pat Bulger. First, happy belated birthday to Jackson Bulger.
Thank you. And thanks everybody for going to dinner on my birthday. That was really nice.
Yeah,
That was really cool.
Tonight's question is the cycling warm-up question, a cycling-specific warm-up question that was supposed to be our final question for last week. What is your leg shaving routine, gentlemen? How often and what is your method? Like products, do you do it in the shower? Do you do it in the bathtub? Do you soap? Do you shaving cream? Tell me how often and what is your process. First off, and I'd also like to know if you do it year-round or if you let it go in the winter. First of all, he's the guy who I'm sure has had the biggest smile on Thursday evening, Mr. Paul Main. How are you, man?
Doing all right?
You were grinning like a pig in shit.
Yeah, I love this. I just love bike racing. It's the best.
You were in your
Yeah.
element.
You were.
Yeah.
I'm even
It's
talking
too bad
about-
I wasn't in shape and could do anything. I just kind of...
That's such bullshit. We're gonna get to some of that things. I'm just so happy.
Happy, joy.
What's your shaving routine?
About once every 2 weeks in the shower.
What?
You go that
my hair
long?
doesn't grow.
Yeah, you don't have that.
Last time I got my hair cut was in January. It's a little bit long now.
Holy
My hair does not grow.
You are so lucky.
Yeah.
God.
So about at least every 2 weeks. Yeah, sometimes it's a little less. It depends. It's kind of weird. My hair will grow at different rates. So.
Shower?
In the shower after I've scrubbed myself clean, and I have one of those, like Dove makes a man's scrub,
Man
not
scrub.
a puff. I don't use a
loofah.
puff.
A loofah.
Yeah.
Kind of, but
It's like got plastic on it, right?
Yeah, it's got
Yeah.
plastic around it, and then it has the typical, like, what a puff looks like. So after I have that, there's still residue of soap, and then I sit down in the shower and boom, done.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quick. I go 2 weeks. I got to break out this trimmer.
Same.
Weed whacker. Next off, he is the guy who has a hard-on for headwinds, Mr. Sam Labels.
That's true.
Dude, this weekend I'm going to get to it, but oh my God, you're just like, everybody stay back. I'm fine. No,
he won't be.
sit on my wheel. Yeah, you're sitting next to your brother. I do have to say, in my older age, and from all these years of headphones and drums and rock bands, stuff like that, my selective hearing has gone to shit. In a crowd or on the bike, I can't hear what Jackson and Paul were saying right in front of me. You guys, I think, were
That was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad he didn't.
Well,
you guys, I think, were including me in stories, and I'm just like, yeah. And then all I heard at the front of the peloton was just an occasional like, "Fuck you, Mom likes me best. Fuck you." Yeah. So, by the way, those didn't count as my f bombs.
I agree. Those
You're
actually
quoting-
don't,
quoting
because
somebody
that is a quote. I admit to that. Yeah, it's funny. I used to be just like year round. I'd always shave because that was like the culture. And then at some point, I grew my leg hair out, and I was like, I don't want to shave again. That's so much work. And then I did it for this bike race. I was all in.
Yeah.
I was like skin suit and everything. Shaved my legs, and I was like, it was such a routine. And now it's like just the maintenance of it. But I was thinking this morning, I'm like, do I want to shave again?
Oh, you better.
I know. Well, that's the thing, and I don't want to like have to. I'm gonna definitely be shaving for the RC3, so it's like,
Yeah.
well, I probably should just maintain until then.
We got another race in like 10 days, too.
I just hate dealing with it. I already have so much. I have to shave my face. So much work.
No, you don't.
That's true. I could
just stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, so anyway, I'd say I'm pretty lazy about it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out right now where I stand with it now.
You
I
prepared?
think
Do you prepare a soap? Is it a soap? Is it a lotion?
I always use the same like your typical that Gillette razor that like has a battery in it.
Oh.
Like the one that vibrates.
So it vibrates, yeah.
The vibrator.
which I think does nothing. But
yeah,
anyway,
it probably does nothing,
on
but
you,
I've
man.
just had it forever.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
continue to use it. And then just shaving cream in the shower.
Shaving
Because
cream.
if
So
I
you're
don't,
shaving cream.
if
Okay.
you shave outside of the shower when your like leg hair isn't warm, I don't know. I'm gonna get nicks
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Not fun.
It's gonna look like somebody came after you with a weed whacker. Yeah, I've done it dry a couple times when I was
Shaving
younger.
them
When I was
dry.
younger, that
Yeah.
was really dumb. That was really a dumb. He's not here, but I was gonna say he's the guy who attacks like a dog in a squirrel sanctuary.
Yep.
Mr. Dr. David Waples, because Thursday night he was just like going, "Okay, I'm recovered. I'm gonna go now.
Yeah.
Okay, squirrel. Okay, I'm moving.
All right, you guys are back.
all over the place, man. I loved it. He was hilarious. So, so David's not here with us. So, no, ask Dr. David. We don't get to talk about vegans and vegetarians.
We know he doesn't shave his legs
because of his wife.
His wife doesn't
like it, so he won't shave his legs.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of anti-cyclist to
Yeah.
roadie, anti-roadie.
Yeah,
to not shave,
I know.
So.
He was always kind of an adopter of that, though. He didn't really like shaving his legs.
Really?
Yeah, but then like his wife's like, "No, I don't like when your legs are shaved." He goes, "Cool, that's enough."
Wow. My wife actually hates it when they get hairy now because she's known
Yeah, I
me
know.
my
My
whole
wife
life
goes
for
both
that.
ways. It's so funny. She's like, I used to shave my legs, and then when I grew my leg out, she goes, "That's disgusting. Shave your legs."
Yeah.
And now it's the other way, and now it's already switching back. Like, you need to shave your legs again. I'm like, what the?
Yeah. It's a weird system.
Next in the group, he's the guy who sprints like he stole something, Mr. Jackson Bulger. How are you, man?
I'm good, thanks.
You're older. Did the upgrade work?
Well, it didn't because it's not the same as it was. They actually made it harder to switch categories.
Sons of bitches.
So I did apply for it, but you need 20 upgrade points. The Badlands Cycling Series is not a USAC race, so it doesn't count.
yes, it is.
It
No,
is.
well, they said it's not. So it's not a USA Cycling sanctioned race, apparently.
I would contest that
I would
because
too.
it's underneath the USA Cycling. It's on their website.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
there's that, and then you can either do that or you can get 20 mass starts in any event.
Over your life?
Just
over the last couple
Probably
of years?
since your upgrade.
Since you registered as the
So how many
category.
you at?
God,
What about all the
Christ.
Wednesday night races?
Yeah, I have.
Do they
no,
count?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Fuck. I'm going to
So do you
swear.
need
Fucking USAC, get your shit together. Quit sponsoring major fucking stupid money shit and get your ass in gear. You're fucking up the sport, you assholes.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off right now.
There goes his heart.
Yeah.
I'm back in AFib.
Yeah.
I am mad. This ticks me off, man.
Yeah.
They do shit for our sport.
And like,
And then
I mean,
you
I'm sure
are
that
clearly a Cat 3, if not a Cat 2, and they
Yep.
won't give you the fucking upgrade. Eat shit, you assholes.
you know. And here's the thing: is
There.
the Badlands. I'm
Sorry,
sure
I'm
is, like,
way over
paying,
my F-bombs for the week.
but they're paying for that, right? Like because
Yeah.
our races are the price that they are because they paid into that. So like, my question is what do you mean? You know, it's how is
Where's the
that sanctioned?
Tylenol?
Well, that's something we can ask the official.
Babe, I need the baby aspirin.
Yeah.
We can ask an official. We can ask Mike
Yeah,
Surratt
I
because
will.
because there is categories. There's category A, B, C. I don't know, maybe D. This
Yeah.
might be a D, and D's not upgradable because it's a weekly series. I don't know.
RC3,
so-
you got a first and a second last year.
Mm-hmm.
You've had more than enough start lines in your life.
How many points do you have?
I have 12, so I need 8. So if I get if I win a race,
Yeah.
that would get me.
Oh man.
That's it. Show's over. Night,
Back
everybody.
to the drawing board.
But how I shave my
How do you
legs?
shave?
Oh, yeah. The shave legs.
I
I lost my shit there.
it's usually an in the shower thing. I have a very special shaving cream because I have because
in
I
the
have
shower, it's special.
well, yeah, it's a special time. But I have
Hi, everybody. It's my special time.
but it's
It's like a male Martha Stewart.
anyways, it's a sensitive skin. Because I do have very sensitive skin because on the third day my legs flare up like a Christmas tree.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I have to have like very sensitive
Do you have
skin.
a lady Bic razor?
Uh-uh.
Or is it the lotion?
It's the
The stuff you put on.
stuff itself is for sensitive skin.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm mildly
Man.
busting your balls. But
I know.
Wait, why do you shave your legs then if they get that irritated?
because they look stupid.
Well, so it's damned if you do,
Until
damned
you're
if
riding away.
well, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if I wear my cycling shorts with longer hair, it yanks at the longer
And
hair.
then you're gonna get irritated. Yeah.
right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
That's
either
what
way
this
I'm
is.
irritated. Because after that third day, though, it's fine. It doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So no matter what, you get a rash.
Yeah. I get like bright red bumps.
Do you
all
put
on-
lotion on after you shave? Too?
Yeah.
Really?
Every day.
Really?
Yeah.
That might be it too, though. It might be the skin might be irritated.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. I'm also thinking instead of going against
Can we
the grain,
have
'cause
some women chime in on this?
We should.
Well,
I feel like they know.
Yeah, I do. I mean, my fiance was saying that instead of going against the grain, go with it. See if that
Get
helps.
as close of a cut. Yeah.
That's fine.
that would. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna trust her.
it probably
She's a nurse.
Yeah.
And she's probably shaved multiple
Done it
chests.
longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a clean boy right now. Speaking of which, oh yeah, me. I'm the guy who with 2 holes in his groin, 3 if you count the one in the middle. I'm Pat Bulger, and I have been ablated. Everybody, I have been ablated. I'm 1 day post-op. About this time yesterday, it's 6:20. I was still lying in a hospital bed yesterday at this time. And I am a bit stiff, and when I wrote this, I'm a little woozy too, but I'm not anymore. I'm feeling good, although beer's
Beer's
help
helping.
bring it back.
Yep.
It was an interesting process. According to my doc, my left side of my heart is pristine. He said pristine. He used the word pristine. My right side, they did ablate the right side, which means, for those of you who don't know what that is, they basically went in and they fried the nerve, the electrical signals to that side of the heart, so it'll hopefully stop. He said I did go into AFib when he started fucking with it, which is good because now you know where the signals are. And my resting heart rate's really low right now, which is kind of freaking me out, but that's probably because of the beta blockers and the fact that my heart just went through a traumatic incident. So in other words, I've gone from a heart too fast to a heart too slow, but you know, it's been an interesting process. I'm hopefully back on the bike within probably by the weekend. They told me to take a couple days off. Funny thing is, they told me I can resume my normal cycling activities, but I can't lift more than 10 pounds for about 5 days. So in other words, my wife has to take the garbage out, which makes me so happy.
Sweet.
Yeah. I'm just like going, oh, remember how you couldn't lift this? Well, I really can't lift this now. Quit overstuffing the can. Maybe we won't have a problem. I do want to have to say that David's not here, but this is talking about the shaving routine. I do, by the way, soap, but usually like this recently, I had to actually go in with my electric trimmers on my legs first I came home from the ride on Saturday and took the electric trimmers to my legs because it was so long that I'd have gone through like 4 rate. I produce Brillo pads. My leg is
mound of
leg hair is wired.
I haven't shaved in like 2 years.
Yeah. Like the bottom of the shower, you know, because I stand in the shower, and there's just like a pile. Yeah, and then because of the procedure, they were saying, David was saying,
Oh, you're
to me,
waxed.
He's saying they're going to shave your chest. So if you want them to do it poorly, they can do it, or if you want to do it yourself, you can do it. So I shaved my chest. I shaved other areas, not completely, but we talked about this when we had that previous sponsor, you know, the man trimmers.
Yeah, he did a Batman figure.
pause.
Yeah. I shaved that kind of around that area, and I do remember, and David, actually, I didn't take David's advice when he looked at me and with a dead straight face and said I needed to shave my butthole. Fortunately, his wife was standing right next to him and looked at him and like what?
She's like, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And bleach it.
And bleach it while you're at it.
But I do look like like I'm back in elementary school here from the neck down.
You look like Ken.
Yeah, exactly. My wife just looks at me like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. I think she likes more of a 70s style. And I even had gone.
Shag.
As I was waking up from
The love rug.
as I was waking up from the drugs, one of the male nurses around me was just like going, "Hey man, you awake?" I'm like, "Yeah." It looks like somebody went crazy with the old manscaping there on you, but you're good to go, buddy. And I was like, well, what? And I looked down, and it looks like there's a. This is not an offensive way to say it, but I look like I got a Hitler mustache down there.
Oh no!
It's a soul patch.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a soul patch.
No.
Yeah. So any parents of my students who are listening, please don't play that part out loud back in the car.
Pause.
You got, as they call in the biz, the landing strip.
Landing strip. I'd pull up my shirt right now, but it's no. You don't need to see that.
Nah, yeah.
And then the funny thing is as I'm sitting there getting ready, first of all, they're so cautious. They're like going, "Okay, we're gonna." we're gonna shift you here on the bed and stuff like that, and they're holding me still, and I'm like going, they had no drugs in me at that point. I'm like going, I can sit up. You don't have to boost me, It's like we got to shift him to the left. So they grab the sheets like they do in the emergency room, and they 1, 2, 3, and they're moving me over, and I'm like going, I can shimmy to the left. What the hell? But anyway. So I'm sitting up, standard. And they're putting all these patches on me, legs, thighs, back, everywhere. And at one point, because I was like, I took care of myself. And all of a sudden, I hear her fire up a razor. And what does she shave?
Your butthole.
Dang it, he was right.
No.
Wow. Should I have bleached it too?
Yeah. Okay, get him up on all fours. 1, 2, 3. No, it was my shoulders and my
Put
back.
a pillow underneath him. Get that thing jacked up.
It was my shoulders and my back, and I felt like I'm just like, oh.
They did that to me when I got my tattoo. It runs in the family.
Really?
Yeah.
Back hair. Oh, that's nice.
I know I don't look like a sweater, but I was like,
it's scraggly.
Oh, man. So there we go. Looking like I'm going to be on beta blockers for a little while longer, but I will take it. I get to ride bikes, so I get to ride bikes. So speaking of which, let's talk about the past week, but let's talk in reverse. Saturday we went for a little spin.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was. I love you guys. How you guys are always like, 2.5, 3 hours, maybe 50, 60 miles. And it's 4 hours and 80 miles or, and all that kind of stuff. Jackson's now learning the art of telling his fiance,
plus
I will
20.
be gone, plus an hour.
Yeah.
Just add an hour to it. And Sam, David's not here, but I need to know if there's a certain point in time where we need to intervene. Your competitive nature just shining through a little bit there, man. I mean, it's just like...
Only with him.
70 miles, just shy of 3,000 feet of climbing. Our average was quite a good piece over 20 miles an hour.
Yep.
We weren't going slow. No. And you guys chose... Paul said I remember you saying you were going to pour beers tonight because he was like, the Waples were just on the front.
Thank you.
And I seriously think you caused physical harm to your brother. I'm not going to get specific.
Oh, I did. I saw him on Sunday.
Yeah?
I did. But here's the thing. Okay. 2 years ago when we were training for this cross-state trip, right? David was in the same shape that he is now. And everybody on the group was like kind of concerned. Like, hey, is David going to be ready for this? And I'm like, he'll be ready. Zero concern. In 2 weeks, all of this shit talk that I do is over. Like, I don't have it anymore because he's faster than me. I have this window for being very good about all of my training from November until now. I get like a month to shine, and then David just blows me out of the water. So I'm going to enjoy every bit of it. And yes, I broke him.
What I don't understand was the fact that you wanted to pull. You wanted to pull all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of us were like, okay.
Yeah.
But your brother, I don't think he wanted to pull.
Nope.
Yet I think he did simply out of some sort of event that happened between you guys when you were toddlers, and it became a rage-inducing incident that he's still telling his therapist about today.
Yeah, no, that's pretty accurate. I mean, it's literally all it takes is just like, I looked at him at some point last week and I was like, I'm gonna hurt you this weekend.
God.
And he's just like, no, you won't.
Yeah.
Game on.
Oh my
You're
God.
sitting right next to me. And then and I admit this was maybe taking it too far. He was cracked. I mean, you came around at one point, you're like, and because I'm just slowing down enough to where I'm like pretty much half wheeling him, right? So that like he has to continue going. And then Paul came around. Well, then we came back up. I gave him a bunch of my food and I was like, eat up, child. I want my 9th round. I'm like, you're not dead yet. It's like, that was maybe too far. Like, maybe that's the line.
Yeah.
But he's alive.
As
long as I get him home.
Okay. Was that a hard ride, you guys?
It was
Paul
for me.
Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say I've learned art of, eating during to feel good at the end.
Pacing, right? I mean, because like you paced it really well. It's like you were sitting in, you did a very hard effort, and then you refueled and you went again.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think that's the best thing to learn is like when, like, okay, we're going to be out here for a while. I need to be pacing this,
Mm-hmm.
I think you were the only one that got caught in the crosshairs for the most part of me being a jerk to David.
Paul did?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I
because
was-
at some point, like he, took a corner and David was being a nice guy and went back to pull him up, and I saw David was off the back, and I was like, I don't care where Paul is, I just want to crack David.
I play that game too, so it was no feelings hurt on that.
Oh no.
But I was done. I hadn't eaten anything. It was my third ride in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't.
I actually took that shortcut because I had to blow some snot on my nose. I'll just go out of here.
And then I see David fall back, and I'm like, I'm gonna break him.
Yeah.
And
that was-
unfortunately,
You did.
Paul is there.
That was a proud moment for me, though.
When you close that gap,
Yeah.
I was doing. I looked down, and I either need to recalibrate, or I was doing 500 watts on your wheel, barely holding on.
It's likely. I was doing a 375 up there.
I was just, I pasted. I was picturing I was Geraint Thomas chasing after Pogačar and Vingegaard last year. Just
Okay.
pick a pace, you'll
nice.
catch it.
Isn't that the best? God, what a great team ride, guys.
It
Oh
was.
my
It was
God.
great.
Good.
I was literally. By the way, I asked you guys if that was a hard ride for completely selfish reasons.
It wasn't.
1,000%. Okay, thanks.
Yeah. God. Yeah, lucky I just got off of COVID and stuff,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it might have been hard for me.
I was drunk for most of that
Yeah.
ride. Yeah, because it's just I just am like, please. I was literally. I'm using the word literally appropriately here. I was fifth wheel for most of that ride. It was two by two by, and then I was one, so I was back there. And the whole time I was just going, there's a moment where something bad's going to happen and I'm just going to crack. And the hill, I did crack. I mean, I have found that I can't go into the red for more than probably 30 seconds. And then my heart won't pump high enough to give me that oxygen so I just lock up. But for 15, 20 seconds, I'm like, boom, I'm good. And then the steady stuff, the FTP riding, I can do that for a while. But I was just, oh God.
There's a good moment that you killed your son. I'm like doing an effort behind
That was an
him.
asshole move
And
on my part.
Yeah,
but
and I was just
gotta
like,
take
I was
the
just
little
trying to
victory.
motivate it. I'm just like, keep going. You're not done yet. Keep doing it. And he's just head down, burying himself. And then what does his father do?
There's a city limit sign.
Sprints
It was
around the
instinct.
side.
I got the other one though.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
So
It
I'll
was
take
instinct. I had to. It's just I don't
I know.
think. I don't think. It's just like
He's
must
up
go
there
fast now.
burying himself.
Thank you, child.
Yeah.
that. It was good. It was good work though. The long game I haven't been good at, so I've been working on that.
Yeah. So we also did our first. Can we say it's our first race as a collective group?
Totally.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's break down that things how those things went. I'm sure the listeners can all go along with us for the ride and stuff like that. But what did you guys come away with from your personal preparedness levels? How do you guys feel in terms of your season, how things are going, and walking into the summer months? Anybody I'm flying.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
After all of it. So
After what you went through on both, great Thursday, great Saturday.
yeah. I mean,
You were the designated hitter on Thursday night. So,
right,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and apparently it was being recognized, as I heard. But
What?
That's maybe my fault. Talked a lot of
well,
shit.
yeah. I think we let the cat out of the bag a little bit on that one about what the plan was.
Wait, people listen to this podcast?
Right, crazy, right?
Apparently.
I thought the whole iTunes rating thing was just my dad paying them to make me feel good about myself.
But it was
Thanks, Pop.
That's how I got on the junior team. USA Cycling.
but it was fun though. It was my first ever race in the APAC, and finishing second by, as we said before, very
RCH.
Yep.
Like a tire margin.
Yeah.
That's, super impressive too, because APAC that's a fast pace.
Yeah.
We didn't let off the pace there. I would have been curious if I didn't what was your guys' average for that? Because you guys just
don't
did
even
the
know.
race.
I did 21 miles an hour
Yeah.
for an average.
Yeah.
On the race?
I feel like it was
slow.
I think it
faster
was-
than that.
that's-
I think that's
I think-
probably the
oh.
warm up and
You
cool
started.
down.
Did you
and-
start it early? Or the
Well, I
cool down?
started it
Or
before.
your cool down lap?
Yeah, it was a cool down. I mean, I did half a cool down lap, but I was also, I didn't really hit the win very much, except for that last final bit.
Yeah.
Large loop, a little under 2.5K.
Yeah.
Per loop. It's for those people who don't know, it's a auto racing track. that our local tribal organization owns, and it's freaking awesome track. You know,
Wide corners.
Yeah.
You can send 3 through at a time.
really
It's safe.
Yeah.
really you could pedal every corner.
Oh yeah, I know people
Well,
don't.
Some people don't.
There's
You-
one corner, if you go fast, you're not going to...
One or
that
two.
really tight 90 after. So,
At the top.
no, in the chicane.
Oh,
We have
okay.
that zigzag.
Yeah.
There's one
Yeah.
that the first big we had a sweeping right, then they had a left where it seemed like 50% of the people were like, you're doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
But if you get it right, your speed's coming into that, and it's a 180 degree. That one, if you're hitting it hard, you're not going to be able
Yeah.
to pedal through that.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
I don't know. I mean, I pedaled through all of it, but also I'm just thinking, I'm like, there's motorcycles that could take this at 50
Yeah.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
We're going 25. I'm pedaling it. And so, yeah, I think that this last
Lying there in the
Yeah.
gutter. I'm a motorcycle. I shouldn't be here bleeding. I was a motorcycle.
But there were a lot of there's some. It's interesting to come from the west side where we had a lot more technical tight crits, and here it's a wide open. I'm like, I can go anywhere on this track.
Yeah.
But there's some people that just have no clue how to follow a line. They go from one line and they sweep all the way out to the outside.
Okay,
And it's,
hold your horses, because that's going to be our topic here shortly.
okay, but anyway,
yeah.
On Thursday night, that was evident, and so I was able to honestly, I just took the inside line for that one that you're talking about, and I was just able to carve it hard.
Yeah.
But you couldn't pedal through it if you're carving it hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's true. But there was a couple times where I was off the front, didn't have to worry about that.
What went well and what didn't go well? Anybody got any reflections upon personally what went well and what didn't went well? Didn't go
Our
well.
lead out went horribly.
Yeah.
It
I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. You guys are going, and I love coming up to a group meeting and everybody's like going, okay, the big goal is to lead out Jackson, yada yada yada. Pat, you're first, which means we don't really care that you're there.
But we want you to participate.
It'd be pretty impressive if you were there, but could you go from 5K out?
So real.
Okay, guys, here I go. He's so adorable. Just let him go. Just let him go. He's so cute. Look at that old man out there. 130 beats per minute.
A blood thinner.
Blood coming out of his eyeballs.
Yeah,
He's adorable. What a dipshit.
I think that did not go very well. I think that the strengths that David and I bring to the table is just attack. So I think that David did that wonderfully.
He did.
He
was the squirrel.
If it ever let up, David's like, I'm gonna go again.
Yeah.
And that's something important to have.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you don't have to do anything. You could just sit back and be like, well, we have a guy up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. We just got to kind of relax. So I think that overall our racing went well. I think that we could have, done better in the end, but just in the lead out sense. But Jackson did amazing with pulling out a second with just basically getting brought to the front.
Yeah.
Well, I will.
You had to manage the rest of that.
My wife tells me that if the course was 6 inches longer.
Yeah.
Well, she says a lot of things that she wishes were 6 inches longer. But
She's stuck on the 6 inch
I
thing.
don't know what she's
My
talking about.
mom listens to this podcast.
I know, and she let me know that she didn't like my F-bombs. She walked up and she introduced herself to me. Hi, I'm Sam's mom. Stop swearing so much.
And
I
she
looked
took
at her,
a
I went,
ruler across your hand.
No, I didn't. Yeah, she slapped my hand. Yeah, the ruler.
Knock it out.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Stop it.
I don't think we're too far apart in age.
You're
are we?
not. That's
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
so funny about it.
She's very authoritative, and
She is.
I'm
Don't mess
mildly
with Mama
intimidated.
Waples.
I'm mildly intimidated. We were saying,
Oh,
no,
no.
if the course was 6 inches longer, you were coming up,
Right.
then you would have probably grabbed it.
Right, yeah, and I think that with the with how the lead out went, it was unfortunate because it was a little bit. We just didn't have all of our guys
Ducks in an order.
in order
yeah.
at the time. But I will say what it showed me is that I have that luckily, knock on wood, I haven't had that crash that takes away that instinct of just there's a gap and I don't know if I can fit there, but I'm gonna fit there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it came down to at the final. I saw that there was that Sam, I completely understand why you had nothing left in the end there. And I just looked at my left, and there was probably, I'd say, half a bike length of a gap. And I said, I'm going to be there. Yeah. And I just kind of shot over, and he let it open. Yeah. And then the guy just opened up his sprint just a little bit earlier than I could. But yeah, if it was just maybe a little bit longer, I think we would have won.
That's the beauty of sprinting, and that's the beauty of this style of racing. And you know, I think that's, you know, we talk about the American culture and how the immediacy of and the intensity of racing and crit and circuit racing very much fill that niche. And you know, to be able to come down to the fact that a race victory came between the fact that you started one pedal stroke too late is what makes it exciting. Yeah, what makes it enthusiastic and brings you back. You know, makes you want more. So,
I want to do it again.
Yeah,
I'm gonna mess them all up next time. I'm coming for every
we got it
person.
Next time for sure.
How do you guys feel the quality of that field was?
I think that there was power that didn't know how to be used.
Really?
I mean, I'm gonna just even call out the tri guys that we were with, right?
Yeah.
Like those dudes are so strong.
You can plug them. Couch Tacona,
yeah,
right?
Couch Tacona.
Yeah,
Those guys are so strong.
We all got to plug each other for crying out loud. We got a lot of really cool shows in this town. So.
Yep, and they're super cool guys.
Yeah.
But they're very properly fast. And I was talking mad game to them before going into that. I do. It's my own fault that we are in the situation we're in.
Damn it.
But I'm going to continue doing it because someday we'll win. Anyway.
See, I told you. I told you. I had it.
Anyway, this guy did a huge effort off the front. David was dangling in no man's land. I was like, okay, well, he's going to solo. Yeah, Dangling David.
There we go. Nickname.
Yep. And he's just right there. When he gets like brought back in, I had determined like I'm going. And so I had said I'm saving everything for the finish, but I put in a massive dig in the middle of the race and pulled up that other Couch Tacona triathlete and one other guy. Thank God that other triathlete has not raced enough road races because it was 2 against basically 1v1, right?
Yeah.
Because we weren't teammates. And the Couch Tacona, teammate looks at me and goes, "I'm not going to pull you up there." And I'm like, thank God, because I don't want to be up there with that guy.
Yeah.
And you. Because that's a terrible situation. It's basically 2v1. Yeah. But anyway, so it's just one of those things that there was great potential at that race that I think just didn't pan out.
Okay.
But I think that gets very promising for Spokane Racing. There's a lot of power in that A group.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you guys say like that? That was a really hard group to get away from.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it was a still day because that course can, the winds can really blow. It's up on a plateau, so people aren't used to that course or familiar with that course. There's times where the wind is blowing and howling, and it was still, and it was good temperature, and I think everybody was jacked because it was the first weekly series in 2 years, if not 3.
Yeah, at least 3, I think. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's
so
pre-COVID.
Nothing got away. In retrospect, like your situation where you had that one triathlete with you, you guys weren't too far ahead of us. Oh,
totally.
Yeah.
But if he had been participating, I guarantee you we would have got to that other guy. And if all of us were rotating, that's the race. Like I can guarantee that there was not enough horsepower in that to bring back 3 very strong riders. Mm-hmm. But I did not want to be in that situation. I was like, I really want somebody to come up here and catch us.
You don't think you could have sprinted him?
No, because they could have just done plug after plug. I mean, once again, this is considering that they are like knowledgeable road racers. If this was David and I in that situation, we would have literally just done one swing after another at whoever was with us.
Yeah.
And then been like, now you have to go catch him. Now you have to go catch him.
Yeah.
And just killed that rider until he could solo 1-2. Like, that's the way to do that.
I don't know the Couch Tacona guys, but are they up to speed on that style of a tactic?
Nope. That's why I'm like, I don't think that there was that caliber of
we
racing.
just probably revealed it to them.
Yeah.
Because,
That's the thing. But you know what? That's only one way to win a race.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one of those things that I think that Spokane, once again, coming from the west side, there's a lot more very advanced riders just have done a lot more. Over here, there's a lot more Cat 4.5s that are learning and getting into it. They have a lot of speed and a lot of power, but they don't know the tactics of racing yet. So it's fun to be in that now.
So let's do that. Let's switch to that. First of all, big thanks to Badlands Cycling Club.
Yeah.
Register, you guys. Badlands.org. BADDLANDS.org.
Yep.
They need more B's and C's. People in the
Juniors.
Yeah,
Juniors get a race for free.
Juniors get a race for free, and I think the women get to race for free. I think they're actually offering it up for that too. So so great, huge thanks to them. Check out their series. Get out there and do some bike racing, or just do something stupid like I did and register for the whole season. Not sure if you're going to be physically able to do the whole thing or not. It's just it's supporting bike racing. Hi USAC. You sack. I'm done, man. I am so pissed at those guys, and I'm on a board. So let's segue into tonight's topic. I want to talk about etiquette and ethical behavior in various forms of bike racing. I think this was Paul's suggestion. Over the weekend, with a good dose of social media, has been shared over how Legion of Los Angeles rider Robin Carpenter suffered multiple injuries after he was taken out late in a Spartanburg Regional Healthcare Criterium in South Carolina on Friday night. New addition to Legion, he was riding at the front of the peloton at the end of the race when he was cut off heading into a corner. I'm assuming everybody here on the panel seen the footage of it. If you haven't, look on Justin Williams' Instagram, and I think he posted it there. Really shaky. He was basically had his camera in front of a TV, and you'd think he'd have footage, but I have a problem with the Williams brothers.
Keep it professional.
At high speed, Carpenter was left with nowhere to go and hit the ground hard. This is prepared text from somebody else here. Hours later, after a long wait in a hospital in Athens, Georgia, he was announced via Instagram that he had suffered a broken collarbone, wrist, several rib fractures in the crash. It looked like he just rolled and he was like fine, but he wasn't. So he took to social media and saying, quote, that was the most, I'm quoting, so that was the most fucked up thing I've ever witnessed in a bike race. Suspension, question mark, WTH. So we've all seen the footage, right? Mm-hmm. Let's talk ethics. How would you describe what happened in that race and in that moment?
Anybody that guy should have a suspension.
The first person, the guy who went out.
The guy who ended up winning.
Did he win?
Yeah,
he won. He won the whole thing. Paul.
Well, I watched it. I think that's the hard thing about crits. There is a lot of pushing and shoving, argy-bargy stuff. On that, I know what his intentions were. I would agree if he purposely swept his wheel and that his intention is to take him out. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. And I think that it looked like to me, and I don't know, but it looked like to me his intentions was he chopped him in the corner, but he was trying to get far enough ahead, and then he realized his line's off, so he swerved over
he went
and
wide.
hit the wheel.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. It wasn't like a purpose thing. How do you discipline? I mean, he's going to get ridiculed verbally from people and stuff like that and say that sucks. If it was on purpose, then yes. But how do you determine that?
Sure.
But man, when you get in, you start racing Pro 1-2 crits. If you're not bumping into somebody at every other second, that's just the way it is. And especially when it gets towards the end, and I've been a victim of being pushed out, just because I was smaller or I allowed a gap in somebody. That's just unfortunately a part of bike racing, and you don't want anybody to get hurt. But I don't know. I really don't think, you don't. I hate huge regulation. You start looking at like the NFL, like in the grass where he didn't have control. You start watering down the whole thing. I don't want crit racing to get to that point.
And the Williams brothers have done similar shit.
Very much.
And that's where I just this whole crit beef is now an ongoing hashtag where there are always situations where they're either being offended or they're offending somebody else, and it's turning into fucking NASCAR. How many F words am I in?
You're
Are you-
way over.
You
know
had
what?
surgery.
So far over.
Yeah.
All right, because I gotta cut back down, or Mom Waples is
Mama
gonna kick
Waples
my
is coming
ass.
for you. For sure.
With a ruler.
Yeah,
Across
with a
your
ruler.
knuckles.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm
Do you say across your knuckles or across your nipples?
Both.
Well, first knuckles, then nipples.
Yeah.
If you don't
If
get the
you're not
message over
listening.
the nickels,
yeah.
get it on the nipples.
It just seems like they're just back and forth, and it's turning into a NASCAR kind of a thing, which I guess could be a good thing in the long run. But it just seems like if they end up on the wrong side of the stick, they're the ones yelling. Now I don't know. I wasn't there. All I've seen is the shaky footage from his cell phone, and I don't know the details behind it. But it just seems like there are livelihoods on the line. This is a major. This is what these people are doing for a living, and it seems like they're willing to take more drastic chances. We did see, who's Jackson? Who do you think, with one rider in front, who's to blame here?
It's really tough because it is just. I feel like it's an issue of angles in terms of viewing, because I think that from one angle you're going to see probably him. It look like he's going to take him out on purpose, and it's crazy because I feel like what crit racing, especially Paul, what you said about a P12 race, it's like it's shooting gaps and hoping you don't take the whole field out. Like that's kind of what it is, and I feel
It's
like
a gamble.
Yeah, and I almost feel like that's kind of what it was in that scenario. Was it a smart move? I don't think so, because the way he deviates from his line so heavily, I think there is probably going to be a strong case for some sort of sanction or just even like a stripping of the win from that race.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think that it was not purposeful intention, but I think it was very much just a wrong call at the wrong time. Did that answer your question?
I think so.
I don't think that it was ever like thought of as an intentional act. Like, I mean, at least when I was reading through a lot of the stuff, like it didn't even seem like the Williams brothers were saying like this is intentional. They're coming after us. I think that it's more of a like that's irresponsible racing, because
Justin's first post when the post that I think was taken down was very accusatory.
Okay, so I didn't see that. And so, like, because for me, I would have a really hard time believing that guy had any intention of causing a crash.
He wanted to break up the fact that Legion notoriously goes to the front within the last 3 laps to go and destroys the field.
Exactly. And I think,
how do we break this monotony of these guys constantly winning?
Exactly, but I don't think that happens on the final corner. You know, it's like that's dive bombing a corner. I have done that too. But like when you do that, at least at the races that I've done, we're not going 40 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, foul play, man. That's not an okay thing. You put a lot of people at risk. Don't do that again. You're not going to get this win. You're relegated for the next whatever series,
Yeah.
We'll see you in June.
So let's take this a little bit more personally in terms of our own experiences. Crit racing is its own beast. Crit racing on a weekly night versus a major cash prize night, a weekend race, is different. Can we all agree? You behave differently on a Thursday night than you would a Sunday in downtown Seattle or Portland.
Right. If I'm not going to be shoving somebody out of the way for $25.
Yeah. Sam would, because
No,
Sam's
it's
a
not
militant.
even that. Like, I think that I wouldn't do it in either case. Like, if I don't have it, I'm not going for it.
But for $4,000, I'm going to shove someone out of the way.
No, but I mean,
You know?
yeah,
That's what I
get
mean.
it. And that's totally.
Yeah. How about so what kind of behavior is more acceptable in this style of racing? What are you more likely to accept than you would in a road race or in things like that? Are there any things that you're just like, oh no, we're crit racing, it's different?
Oh,
Describe
bumping
to
and
somebody
all
who
of that
doesn't
stuff.
know. Okay.
Like, because I have done a lot of jostling for positions, right? Like, I can remember the last Derby days that happened. It was coming into second to last lap, and I'm sitting up there behind Font, right? Big team in the U.S. And I am jostling, and I'm like, that's my wheel. I know that you're the sprinter, but I've been here, and I'm not cutting off of this. And so I just literally kept pushing the guy all the way into the corner. And I'm like, you can go into the, rails if you want, but I'm not losing this line. But then there's like, I don't know, man, I think that talking etiquette, right? Like, there is a fine point of like bullying people off of that, right? And I think that Williams brothers have been guilty of some of that.
Sure.
Like, but I don't think we really see that.
And using social media to their advantage. And videos for their advantage. Those guys have GoPros on their heads for a reason. So they can, I never thought of that. You can present video in whatever way you want it. I'm not accusing them of anything.
Totally.
I can edit video to make it look like somebody's the bad guy if you want. How about certain ethics within? Now, like Jackson, I saw you reaching out and placing your hand on people's hips. Did you receive any shock or negative feedback upon doing that? Because sometimes if I touch a rider, they freak out.
I mean, no, I didn't, because I'm not moving them out of my way.
No, you're just letting them know you're there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think. I would love somebody to do that for me.
Yeah.
If they're coming up behind and I don't know them, or I don't know they're there, and there's a possibility that I could change lines, I want them to tell me that, hey, like, I'm here. But there was a moment where somebody kind of started to come over at me, and I just kind of put my hand out, and they just like gave me something. They just kind of said something. But I also am very quick, surprising, because I feel like I am the quietest one. But
it's the cycling asshole. It's you
it's
inherited
inside
it.
of you.
Yeah, you just have you have a nice asshole.
Well, I'm willing to chirp back about it. Is what
weird.
But I'm willing to chirp back, because it's a race scenario where it's like, we are not better than one another. We are equals in this moment.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm never going to do anything, physically touch anybody in a race scenario that's going to put them in a dangerous position. And if you're going to accuse me of something like that, then I'm going to stand up for myself. And I feel like that's fair.
But you didn't get any like, whoa, what the fuck, or something like that. Nobody ever
saw me
said
push
anything.
multiple people into gravel.
Really?
Yeah. One time. I only saw that one time. But yeah.
It only happened once.
Yeah.
But I also feel like that is
nobody can prove it.
But that also, I feel like, is kind of the nature of close, tight, competitive racing like this. It's never going to be like I'm going to crash somebody out. But there is going to be, every once in a while, a bit of bodily contact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the difference, like in a road race and a crit. A crit, you have constant corners, you have a higher speed. There's a lot going on in a crit in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
You're on a razor's edge the whole time, and so people react differently, quickly, more angrily. I mean, there's a lot going on. If I think about like the P12 races that I've done, the thing is my approach was, I don't really belong. You have a seat, and if I get myself in a situation where I'm surrounded by bigger teams, they're going to push me out of the way, and I understand. There is a pecking order. As much as you have to fight. If you really want to do that, you have to fight, and you have to determine whether you're going to, because you could be the idiot that fights back. Yeah. And I don't think anybody enters a crit to take somebody out or create a crash. Nobody wants that, but decisions are made in a fraction of a second
by exhausted brains who are oxygen deprived,
and the closer it gets, the little more edgy everybody gets. Towards the finish. So, I brought up this topic because I thought about the tactic that when Jackson, with the last couple of laps, I got to cover his back, because people are going to be, they know that. He obviously he's the one that we're kind of working.
Apparently,
for.
The word got out.
Yeah. Well, and even if they didn't, that's well. We had that Worlds on Thursday. Maybe there's a few. One of the things. So I did a tactic that, like, it's okay in 1-2. I thought I'd become the sweeper, which is somebody who protects your sprinter, so nobody gets on the wheel, that type of thing. And I might have been a little bit aggressive to one particular person. And after the race, I'm thinking, you know what? There's so many different. I've raced Pro 1-2 races.
Yeah.
And these guys, most of the guys, and I'm very happy to see faces I've never seen before. but they're not used to that. So I think I need to pull back, looking back a little bit, maybe pull back a little bit and not treat everybody like 1-2.
Disagree.
No,
I do
But,
too.
you know, the thing
You
is
controlled
it's
that
APAC.
situation incredibly well. You did the job that you needed to do at that point in time. And what I wanted to talk about that it wasn't an ethical decision. Absolutely, in my point, because you were doing a team responsibility. There are certain moments in bike racing where there's this, and this is the beauty of road cycling, and this is what is frustrating about road cycling for a lot of people, is you don't immediately come into the sport and all of a sudden achieve greatness at it. Not to bash the Couch to Kona guys, but there is a tactical element that you've learned from 10, 12, 15 years, 30 years, and Paul might say,
Totally.
of understanding how to ride a race. Nigel's a great guy. I love Nigel. Nigel's not in the best shape in the world right now. Nigel will admit it, but Nigel's smart enough to know how to ride a race that he can surf the wheels and he can stay within a race. I'm the same way. I was obviously on beta blockers. I couldn't get my heart above a certain number. I was able to stay in the field in this high-paced race. Paul, you made a decision to use your tactical knowledge to hold a wheel. Somebody else comes along, whether or not they're going to the total dork moment of pointing at the wheel saying, I want that wheel, and you're like, eat shit, man. You don't get that wheel. But the guy you were struggling with was a good rider, and he was trying on and on constantly to get that happen. I don't think you did anything ethically wrong.
well, no,
It's
the
not
thing
the
is
most welcoming, but like that's how you learn. If they were interested in making it to the next level, like I was at that time, it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't work.
And sometimes you're just not going to get the wheel.
But the thing is this particular person is probably not as experienced, maybe not know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, he does now, right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing
Great
is,
person. I would be
I-
proud to say his name on the show, but I don't have his permission. So yeah.
And so it's one of these things that, the thing is, I don't know how he's going to react to this, because I literally gave him a chicken wing at one point. But he was also on the edge of the gravel, and at that point we're at a high speed.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe he was just trying to force me off the wheel, or at that point when I gave him the chicken wing was, just try and stay, not going into the gravel. I don't
Jackson
know.
sounded confused because he doesn't know what's going on.
I didn't see what was going on behind me.
There was somebody who obviously knew that you were
Or
a lead out
wanted
guy.
your wheel.
And what
Yeah.
wheel do you get on? You get on the wheel of the lead out guy. And so somebody was trying to get persistently on your wheel, and Paul took it upon himself to go, I'm going to get on Jackson's wheel and make sure that nobody gets the benefit of that lead out.
Yeah, I was a little confused because I wasn't.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
he
I didn't
was
You don't
fine.
have eyes in the back of your head, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay.
So that went on for about 2 laps.
Yeah.
Behind you.
Yeah.
I had no clue.
It happened to me the lap before that, before I went off on my lead out, which was just like, go, Pat, you're adorable.
Oh, go
Look
you.
at him go. It's like the old man out in the field with his walker.
And his wife's by the finish line taking pictures, and he's smiling and waving.
Look
at me.
Look, I'm in a bike race. Talk to me about times you made mistakes. Did you admit to it, or did you just tell people to F off? If there been any point in times you're like going, I was the guy who caused that crash, or I was the guy who did that sketchy move. Have there been times where you've done it? And if so, have you admitted to it?
I mean, I'll go quick because I haven't had too many experiences in this.
Okay.
I am really recently learning the art of holding the draft. I think sometimes not necessarily as much anymore, but I used to get super excited to start the sprint, and I would do it from like way too early and then have to sit down mid sprint.
Yeah.
And so now I've learned the art of, you got to kind of stay in the draft a little bit longer than you think you do.
Patience.
Yes, patience, and that's hard. And those are the mistakes I've made.
So you haven't screwed anybody over? Or anything.
I don't know if I've had too many opportunities to. I've really in the past 2 years since
Grab life by the balls, Jackson. Fuck people over.
since I've been-
There was another one.
Since I've been competitive, I haven't
It just tastes
had
good.
too many
the
chances.
F word tastes good to me, I think, is the problem. It's just delicious. Like a little piece of candy.
But that's it.
Okay.
Yep.
I interrupted you.
No,
I
you're good.
apologize.
You good?
I'm a bad person. There's a mistake I just made.
I've
admitted
dive
to
bombed a lot of corners. I mean, and that's why like I admit to it, right? But like I honestly think that a lot of them have been at like pretty slow speeds in comparison to a crit, because it always happens in a crit.
Yeah.
But that's the worst that I've ever done, and I've never caused a crash from that, but I've probably pushed people way off the line, because of like taking a corner, sneaking up around, like when a crit classically like does the mushroom cloud, right, where it's like they let off the gas. That's when it's like I'll just whoop around and dive, and it's like one of those pieces where I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's even bad etiquette. It's just you're maybe putting a couple people at risk, but you're going like 22 miles an hour. It's not that bad.
Yeah. Still hurts.
Yeah, that could hurt.
Yeah.
I think I've
Paul's taken out fields.
well, I've been involved with a lot of crashes, and there's one. I'm trying to think. There's one where I hit the corner pretty hard, and I was leading a teammate up, and I won't say his name unless no, he's out of a drink.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
Okay.
Anyway, and I just greased out in the corner. I took it too hot.
Yeah.
So that was, and I apologize to people.
Yeah.
But you could just hear the hounds of hell. People just scream and scratch.
Yeah.
It was nasty. But
The cries of pain. No. Yeah.
Words mixed together that you think wouldn't even go together, and people are putting these curse words. It's like that doesn't really match, but all right,
I get it.
yeah.
That's
accurate.
accurate. That is very
Right there.
accurate.
Manitou Crit, 1990. So, but or I've shot some gaps in the last second. Going, oh no, because kind of chopping. It's like I'm gonna hit this corner. This guy's in front of me, and he's taking it wide, and I chop. Somebody else has another. He's coming from behind. You lock bars and stack it, and then everybody behind you starts piling up.
I've been in that receiving end.
I never made a mistake.
I believe that.
Never. It's always been somebody else's fault. Is rubbing racing, gentlemen, at our age?
I think
Yeah.
it shouldn't get too bad. I think a little like tap on the shoulder or a chicken wing here and there, not to knock them off balance.
Yeah.
Even in a training series, that's part of crit racing. When you get to the level of like upper end, when you're fighting for $4,000, stuff,
Sure.
it's going to get a little more aggressive and understandable. And I would accept that as somebody.
Yeah.
That's just I'm going into this race knowing there's a lot at stake here, so it's going to get rough.
Yeah.
And if I don't want to do that, then get out of the race. That's crit racing, in my opinion.
If my bars are in front of yours, it's my wheel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I follow that so truly, and that's
Unless you swerve quickly to the right to get your
line.
line.
Right. So
in the
suddenly
corner,
it's
the
funny.
final
I was
corner.
just about to give you shit
Yeah.
about the crit move,
Yeah.
and if bars were in front of
He
us.
was at half a bike length ahead.
I think it's different though.
You got caught in
different.
your own lie, Sam.
It's a corner between racing right next to someone.
Yeah.
And at 42 miles an hour, I can't sprint that fast.
Yeah.
Like the number of times that I've hit 42 miles an hour on my bike are very limited.
I think it is to a level. I think you have to really recognize where you are. I like these races that we're doing. I don't know if for instance, like Paul just said, we aren't at $4,000 on the line type of situations.
No.
You don't need to be really rubbing that
We're at
intensely.
most a gift card to
Right.
Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I think that is the recognition that needs to be within your mind of, is a $25 gift card to Starbucks really worth pretty heavily putting contact upon another rider? No.
Not Starbucks.
No.
Hell no.
I would disagree. But no, I think
McDonald's a coffee, man. McDonald's a coffee.
But I think that you just really got to recognize your level. If you're racing at that top level, then yeah, it is. But at our level, like slight rubbing.
Yeah.
But,
I didn't get that last part.
I,
Anyway.
Skip.
it's
Next.
a Michael Scott joke. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay. I don't like bumping up against people when I don't know the quality of the riders I'm with.
You'll be fine. Just push them harder.
Well, that's the thing.
You're a
It's,
big
you know,
boy.
Yeah,
You
well,
got
I know.
control.
No, that's the problem. I'm fine, but I don't trust necessarily the experience levels of some of the people I'm riding with. And I'm not saying that as an egotistical stance. I've been doing this for over 30 years, 35 years. Holy shit. But in that time, I've come to be comfortable with bumping shoulders with people. And sometimes where you bump shoulders with somebody and you immediately see them tense up and you're going, this is not a good situation. You know, we're going 35 miles an hour and you're trying to contest a sprint, and I can tell, once again, no offense to our triathlete friends, that you're used to being on a triathlon bike all by yourself in the middle of nowhere, and if I touch you, you're going to tense up so badly that you're going to just turn to dust. So, that scares me at this level. Now, at a pro level where people are bumping all over the place, that's understandable. That is rubbing is racing. But at
that almost scares me more
at
because
local
you know
level,
that
it
they're
scares me.
willing to go further with it.
Yeah,
That's their job,
Like,
though.
that's the thing is like because
That's
the
their
last
job.
1-2 crit that I was in, man, we were bumping all over,
Yeah.
just trying to jostle for positions. Whereas here, I was able to I was thinking like I'm like a schoolhouse bully right now.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
and
you
in
are,
here,
dude.
over here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this.
Yeah.
This is mine.
Yeah. And so
The whole way.
Yeah. So there we go. I don't know if we came to any conclusions there, but for the sake of the show, we do have to continue on with our process here. So before I get to tonight's quick version of our headlines for Giro preview, I do have to pause momentarily because Acast, our podcasting host, has helped us out with a little bit of advertising. So quick break, and then we'll continue. The people online are going like, people listening live are like, what the hell, man? What the hell is that? So there we go. Let's get to tonight's news headlines, brought to us by our friends at Perry Street Brewing. Local brilliant and delicious beer offerings. We have enjoyed the coffee porter and are eagerly awaiting warmer weather offerings.
Check
Which who
those
knows
out.
when those are going to come. In the heart of Spokane's Perry Street District, finish your ride with a proper pint. And that's what we got to do. Just, that deck is calling. So, real quick headlines here before we get to our Giro preview. Cycling-based bullshit. 2 former ZAF cycling team riders have been prevented from racing the La Vuelta Femenina, according to reports from journalist Charles Mossault, cycling website Velo Club. On Saturday, just 2 days before the start of the Women's World Tour. Now, this event has already started. We are 2 days into this, but the ZAF team goes under. It's not paying its riders. It releases its riders. 2 riders get contracts on teams that can ride the Vuelta. The Spanish Federation forbids them from riding the Vuelta because of this contract dispute. Anybody have any way to justify this decision, or is my rant and angry about cycling governing bodies spot on?
Spot on.
Yep.
That's
At what point is this a good decision from the Spanish Cycling Federation?
All I can think, and is probably a big reach, would be that this is to prevent teams to just like, I don't want to pay and shut down. So they have no obligation. As soon as these riders get another contract, they're not obligated to pay.
So they're
I'm
trying to
assuming.
punish the team to continue
Exactly.
on.
You don't want to set a precedence of people just like, you know what? No, pull the plug, and then good luck finding it. No, you still owe them money for the contract, in that. And I could be totally wrong, but I think
that's an interesting twist on it. That is,
I think that would be the only reason I could.
twist.
Yeah, when I read the story, I'm thinking, why? Because there's no explanation. But I think that would, the only thing is, European contracts are completely different than the U.S. than we think. So,
That's an
in fact,
interesting
our
angle
friend
at it. Yeah.
Richie,
Yeah.
who played in the NBA, also played in Europe, and he had an Italian team just said, "Nah, we're done." And he goes, "Well, you still owe me money." Well, good luck with that.
Really?
Yeah. He says it's a different deal. So
Yeah.
I think that might be just a contract and making these companies and stuff pay that. That's the only logical thing I can say. If it's just because, nope.
We don't want to.
Yeah, that's right. We just want to be an asshole. Bleached and shaved.
I didn't do it.
The bleaching
so
or
he
shaving?
says. The
Neither?
nurses did.
The shaving.
He could have while I was asleep, you know. It just, you know.
That'd have been funny.
Beth-
Get him in
yeah.
the quadruped.
Yeah. Speaking of big races, a little ride around Italy is starting this weekend. The Giro kicks off the Grand Tours in proper style. So first off, how are you guys in terms of switching from one-day races to Grand Tours?
God.
Jackson sounds frustrated already.
It's like switching from a movie to a full, 2-hour episode a day type of series.
Why do people do that?
Because it's tough. I think that it's also. I mean, I think what makes it tough for me is that everything is on the line on that day, and so writers really put everything out there, and it's very American. It's very immediate.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I get really caught up in. And then you see the first stage of the Giro, and it's 5 hours long, and the last 45 minutes is a sprint, or even worse, it's a TT day. And so
We do have 70.6 kilometers of time trialing in this.
Right.
Year.
And so I think
3 stages.
especially throwing in TTs, it can make it really hard for me to keep my attention span, but I am determined. I'm not going to hit it because it would make a really loud bang.
You
But
can hit.
yeah, thank you.
Listen to the hum of that.
Yeah.
Resonance, man.
I'm
Yeah.
determined to try and watch every stage this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Highlights or live?
I'm gonna never live, never live.
He doesn't wake up till 10.
yeah.
No, I don't wake up till 6:15 and then set a 7-minute alarm for 6:22.
Good.
Yeah.
We already did go over that.
Yeah. But I'll try and watch it after I get home from work.
Okay.
Try being the operative word.
Yeah.
So
Oh, see, I love it because I'll have it on all day at the clinic.
You do get on
See,
work.
I'm
You do
jealous
get
of
on
that.
work,
That's.
yeah.
I mean, so it's it's awesome for me. I've been streaming everything. The Tour de Romandie.
Yeah.
What is the Frankfurt one that just played? I
Yeah.
just watched that. So it's
That was Monday.
GP
Yeah.
Frankfurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's. I don't know.
I didn't see
I
that.
love it.
Yeah.
I think that it's awesome. And I love stage races because I always dreamed of that would be the coolest thing to just be a stage. Or not. To be a tour contender, it's just the average of all of it. I just thought that was so cool. So I've always loved stage races,
Okay.
and I love classics too. But
Paul,
stage
I know
races are
you've
awesome.
got to be swayed towards single days.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That's where it's
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Kind of on the same reason as Jackson, but of course, the Tour de France is all I knew, and there's something I'll have to get in the swing of things when it comes to stage races. 1 week stage races are probably the lowest form for me for bike racing.
Yeah.
I'll watch it. It's interesting to see because everybody uses those to prep for the Grand Tours. So the Grand Tours step up above that.
Yeah.
The major cobble classics are number one by far, from Hit Volk all the way to Paris-Roubaix. And then I feel like there's a little bit of a slide off with Amstel Gold and Flèche Wallonne. I'll still watch them and still kind of I get excited.
Sure.
And then we have Tour of Romandie, and it's like, I'll watch. I do watch it, but it doesn't have
It's
because
almost-
it's like everybody's kind of half-assing it a little bit. They're
Yeah.
not going to go 100%, but they want that win and the points. So the Giro has always been of the Grand Tours my favorite because it is probably one of the hardest. They do not have a format to get certain people.
Yeah.
It's like the last TT of this of the Giro this year. It's fairly flat and then hits a gravel climb, like a very steep climb. So it's
I think that this is going to be an incredible race.
I mean, we look at this list. I mean, I know that Remco, Primoz automatically come to the top of everybody's bubble to
I mean,
the top.
what was the stages that they did earlier this year? They were just punching each other.
Remco and Primoz?
Yeah.
Were they
Catalonia.
together in?
Yeah, that was Catalonia.
And it was unreal.
Yeah.
That's a small dose of what's to come.
But then you've got Theo Gegenhardt, who just had a really good Romandie.
Yes.
Was it Romandie or the Alps? To the Alps.
Yeah.
You've got look at the depth of UAE. Joao Almeida, Pascal Ackermann, Formolo, Brandon McNulty, Jay Vine, Diego Ulisi. I mean, holy crap. And that's
Stacked.
that is something about the Giro is, I mean, we can almost go into a Tour de France and say so-and-so is going to win unless they crash. Or so-and-so and so-and-so, maybe two riders. What I like about the Giro and the Vuelta is sometimes we go into these races going, it's about 4 or 5, maybe 6 people who could pull something like this off. And this roster, this startup looks deep, unless Remco is just on another planet. Are there any other names that I haven't mentioned that pop into your heads that you guys are looking at that are just, I mean, before we even get to picks, that are just like, holy crap. And especially teams. You look at the depth of Soudal Quickstep, which is there to support Remco Evenepoel, but is that team as deep as a UAE, as a Jumbo-Visma, those types of things? Jumbo-Visma has a great team.
Well, you can look at
EF has a great team.
Yeah.
Well, you can look at Quickstep, like Van Wilder. He's the one that during Liège, Bastogne-Liège, was up the front and protecting Evenepoel. And those steep climbs, people would attack, and he was just like reeling them in. So he's got that. Peter Sherry is a fantastic domestique. This is, for a class. I mean, for a stage race for this classic team that everybody thinks.
Yeah.
I think they've got a great group of guys to protect Evenepoel. But on the other teams, I think Vlasov for Bora, I think he's a potential winner. And
Not getting a whole lot of top mentions.
yeah,
And that's why this thing could open up.
they're pretty quiet, but I think they're really focusing on the Giro and Grand Tours and stuff.
Yeah.
They kind of got away from classics.
I will say I think UAE, while having a very good team, I think is going to get at most some stage wins. I don't think that they have a verified enough leader or strong enough leader.
Yeah, UAE.
Yeah, to just
I
finish
agree.
off
I mean,
the
Jay
job.
Vine is there again, but
I don't know if he's a 3-week type of guy, and I know that Joao Almeida has done something in the past. He's held it for 2 weeks, but I don't think he's got that killer edge of a Remco or a Primoz. I think that he'll win a stage or two, but I don't think that he'll get more than that.
Nobody in this room has mentioned Ineos Grenadiers. Why has nobody mentioned Ineos
Teo.
Grenadiers? Teo
I think it's
and
gonna be
Geraint
an overall.
Thomas. Geraint
Totally.
Thomas.
But I don't think
But
Geraint
is
Thomas
Geraint
is always,
done? Has age bit him in the butt?
I don't think that he's going to be the overall, but
Okay.
I think that he will be the road captain. Even though he went into this thinking that he was going to be the overall, I think what's going to happen is
His
very quickly
rider
he's
number
gonna be
appears to be
established.
118, where Teo Gegenhardt has 111.
Well, I didn't mention him because that's one of my top 3 picks.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I think what's also worrying about Teo is that he won it on a year where a lot of other guys had to drop out. And that's not to say that what he won wasn't like
Real.
worth.
It was
Sure,
also
it wasn't
pretty
real.
new to the world
Yeah.
tour at that point.
And he just had a great 1 week stage.
I know.
race,
And
That's
so
not-
yeah, and so that's why I would really be interested to see what a couple years under his belt racing as a Grand Tour contender would be like.
yeah.
Because we haven't really seen too much of
Geraint
that.
Thomas
We've
won't
seen
be there.
You don't
Mark
think
my
so?
words, he will not be an overall. He's a sustained climb. He's an Alpe d'Huez type guy.
and that's what Teo needs.
Yep.
He needs someone with a smart head saying, "You don't
Yep.
have to surge like these guys do. You can just hold my wheel and I'll
Yep.
bring you there."
Anybody in your heart that you would love to see do something special? I just listed some names that popped into my head: Thibaut Pinot, Warren Barguil, Sepp Kuss, Brandon
Thibaut Pinot's
McNulty,
on mine.
Hugh Carthy.
Hugh Carthy.
The guy works so hard and gets
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see, and I put him down as an opportunist, or did I? Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Ben Healy.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think he could
Yeah.
probably grab a win here or there.
Cavendish
Magnus
is obviously
for-
there for some
Sprinting.
sprinting exercises to get ready for July and
Yeah.
potentially taking that. So how we base this out is, and you guys at home or listening wherever you may be get to play along with us. We do the classic like a mini fantasy team where you get to pick, and in this case it is 3 overall contenders, 2 sprinters, 2 outsiders. Now, when I say outsiders, it can't be the overall contenders that you didn't get to pick. They're outsiders. They're kind of dark horses. And 1 opportunist, which could be somebody who could win a stage here, there, or another place. We score it, and hopefully you guys can do math throughout the next 3 weeks. 5 points for a first place on a stage, 3 points for a second place on a stage, 2 points for a third place on a stage. at the end, final jerseys get 20 points for the pink, 15 for the sprinter, and 15 for the climber. So I'll explain that math over the next 3 weeks. I'll repeat it again and again and again. But your job is to try to keep track of your own points, and it's an honor code here. Now, first things first, before we get to it, shall we bet anything? We have done bets in the past. We have done shame bets in the past.
Loser has to sit on the front for 4 hours.
Well, that's a gift for you.
I think we should save it for the tour, personally.
For examples, I came up with the classic beer 4 mile that I thought of, where you're on a trainer and you have to drink a beer every mile for 4 miles.
The punishment is just
Yeah,
being
do
on
as
a
fast as you
trainer.
can.
You don't have to have.
Yeah. A 100-mile ride.
That's great.
You have to do just a generic 100
I would
mile
love
ride. You have to climb Mount Spokane, or even worse, you have to drink a can of malt liquor on the show.
Oh.
Guys, let's do any of these. Sounds so great. Except for Mount Spokane. I don't want to do
I
Mount
hate
Spokane.
Mount Spokane.
Yeah, we have a bad taste left in
Yeah,
our mouth
let's
from
not do Mount
Spokane.
Spokane, but I
Maybe-
vote malt liquor.
I'm cool
or
with the malt
100
liquor.
miles.
I'm cool with the malt liquor.
I'm looking at
Malt
Paul.
liquor. That sounds like a punishment.
I'd rather do Mount Spokane twice than drink that.
Should we just allow it to be
And
one
it's
of those 4
211
picks?
for sure.
I
It's
would-
not even Old English.
I would
It's
rather do the
211.
malt liquor because I don't have to physically move and risk throwing up.
Okay. Loser drinks a
Like,
can of malt liquor.
I think
on
that's
the show.
On the show.
On the show. Paul's like, I gotta rethink my choices.
So did we all agree to this?
Yep.
Okay, so if we hold
David's
up our,
in.
And
so this
David's
is
in.
all a pinky
David's in.
promise.
Pinky promise. A can of malt
Which
liquor.
David's
on the
going to
show.
have to drink either way because he doesn't have his listed.
Well, he can list. He can any day before the start of the race.
No.
He can do it, and that's for the listeners
All
at
right,
home.
fine.
They can join in and do it any day before the start of the race.
If
So
they lose, do they have to drink malt liquor too?
we should probably force
Yeah,
them to
let's
take a
enforce
picture,
that.
a short video of them downing a little bit of malt liquor.
You need to send that in.
The 211, right? Is that the brand?
That's
we're all
the
going with
one.
here?
It's 211.
It's so bad, so bad.
My power more
So
than
I will
average.
go first. My 3 overalls I'm picking, obviously, and we're going to cancel each out by our first 2 picks. So in other words, everybody's probably going to pick Remco and Primoz Roglic. I'm picking Joao Almeida because my son mentioned him earlier, and I apparently am a bad person in picking the 3 overalls. My sprinters, I am picking Michael Matthews and Fernando Gaviria. Because Gaviria had a good sprint a couple days ago, and I think he's coming to his 4. My outsider, I'm picking Magnus Cort Nelson, and my opportunist, I'm picking Thibaut Pinot, which means I could be in serious trouble. So there are my riders.
I will go next. I have picked my 3 leaders as Remco, Primoz, and Theo Gegenhardt.
Teo, that's a good choice. I might be in serious
We a
trouble.
match there.
That's,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cancel
Yep.
each other.
So how many? We get 2 sprinters.
2 sprinters.
Can you tell I move closer to the mic? I will pick. I really want to go off the grid here, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do Fernando Gaviria and Michael Matthews.
God damn it. So the only rider separating us is Joao Almeida, so I'm screwed. I'm already drinking malt liquor.
So then we get 1 opportunist and 1 outsider.
Yes.
Okay, so opportunist, I am going to pick Filippo Ganna.
Oh, okay. TTs, you could get
yeah.
technically 3 state. God bless it.
Somebody's thinking.
And for my outsider, I am going to pick Alberto Bettiol. If you pick an Italian for this race,
good.
he's gonna win
That's
one.
good. That's good.
Yep.
That's good.
All right, I'm not going to choose him then. I'm going to choose my next one.
Okay.
Same for the overall. Sprinters, Michael Matthews.
Who are your overall though? You picked all.
Primoz, Remco, and then Theo
Theo?
Gegenhardt.
Okay.
For sprinter, I'm going to do Michael Matthews, Mark Cavendish, because he's going to have to show up at some
He's
point.
got to do something. Okay.
Yep. To get ready for the tour. I'm going to do for my opportunist. Okay, since opportunist is going to be Thibaut Pinot, and then outsider is going to be Magnus Cort.
We're talking. Joao Almeida's got to come through for me, or I am a dead man walking. I am a
You're screwed.
dead man walking.
Well, I matched all theirs with Gegenhardt,
Yeah.
Roglic, and Evenepoel.
So in other words, the overall win doesn't matter.
The sprinters are mixed up because I've got a mixture of what everybody else has. I have Gaviria and Cavendish.
Okay.
My opportunist is Kamna, who did
Ooh.
really well last year, and
Okay.
he's always there. And my outsider is Vlasov.
Oh, okay. See, so there's some differences
Yeah.
there. We do have some differences. We're getting down there. Sam, you got a quick tip for us with Bike
I
Fit Sam, brought to us
do.
by AmbassadorCycling.com?
I'm gonna actually also plug another company in Lake, right? Because I have
Okay.
had in the last probably month, I've had 3 people who have had numb feet on bike rides, and and it's all wide feet. Lake shoes, they do an awesome job. I sent in measurements. My wife is one of those people that I was able to take measurements of her feet. They have a whole size chart and everything for it. They have a narrow or a normal, a wide, and an extra wide shoe.
Really?
And then they have a whole bunch of different lasts. So anyway, if you're fighting with numb feet, follow Lake shoes in the sense of they have a size guide. You're going to trace your foot, take some measurements, plug them in.
Wow.
They're killer shoes. But it like numb feet, a lot like those 3 riders, it was all because of a narrow toe box. And Lake shoes has the widest toe box. There's other bike fitters out there will say the same thing.
Wow.
Yep.
I remember Andy Hampson was a big Lake shoe
Yep.
guy for a long time.
I never liked them because of the look of
Never
them.
worn them. Yeah.
But like I've never had to have a wide shoe. And then this pair for my wife, it's like they're
Really?
awesome. So
Holy
anyway,
shit. Okay.
if you're having numb feet, do a quick size guide of that, and that would be a really good solution for you.
that pressure point, I mean, and footbeds and things like that are so vital for that people don't take into account. They just buy a pair of
Well,
shoes,
it's
crank
one of
them down, and hope it works.
Exactly. Yeah, you hit it on the nail on the head with that. It's like with all of that, that's where you are plugged. You are actually connected to your bike. So if your footbed isn't correct, there's so many different variables.
Yeah.
And that's why I check with your fitter. But a lot of the time, man, get the right shoe because you're probably cramming your foot into something that's too small.
Yeah. Shit. Mm-hmm. Are there any brands you guys swear by? Footwear?
Specialized.
You're a specialized guy.
I know.
CD.
You're a CD guy.
I don't know. I've been switching in between, but the thing is, now that I have these Giro shoes, I don't
They're
think I'm really
beautiful.
going to switch.
They're so pretty.
They are really nice. it's just straying from. Being a bike fitter, it's like these have always worked for me, so I just get the same thing.
Yeah.
We'll see, and that's what I'll probably do from here on out.
Exactly.
It's just it's right out of the box. I felt comfortable. We obviously had to do some cleat switching, but that comes with every shoe.
Every shoe.
And it fits my high arch really well. It's been great.
Yep.
I was a CD guy for most of my life. Well, not most of my life. I rode some Patricks back in the day because Bernardino rode them, and I think I've had Converse that were a
And you're a
little
narcissist.
stiffer. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
That's why I
And
have the same
I've
song.
had Converse that were stiffer back in the day. So, I love my Giro gravel shoes. They're
What's
lace
your
up.
road shoe?
My road shoes a Giant.
Also
Hi,
super-
Carson. Hi,
super
Carson.
comfortable
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
though.
Carson helped me out with those, and it's a great shoe. It's
Yeah.
a boa strap, a great shoe. I love boa. The fitting
BOA is the way to go.
to go. Yeah,
Nah,
you're
not
not
too impressed.
I
But
think
I'm
But
a
you've always
CD
had the
guy.
ratchet that's
Yeah.
on CD, right? Because the
Yeah.
new
No,
CDs
I
have the BOA.
I have the boa
Yeah.
on the pair that I have
Oh,
now, and I do
okay.
not like them.
You don't
Okay.
like 'em.
Yeah, but this particular pair, because I've always had CD, and that was the shoe that fit. This last one, I'm battling, and I'm tempted to get the Giros.
I would recommend.
There we go. By the way, sponsor of the podcast. Thank you. But we're not afraid to talk about other brands. So
No,
if you got a foot
honestly,
fit problem,
Giro
check out
is
Lake.
awesome.
Check out Lake.
Lake,
That's a great
Lake is
idea.
killer. I think
Square
there's
feet,
many
go
different ones.
Lake.
Go Lake.
That's,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Square feet.
Don't like it, Lake it.
That's a good one.
I need to get paid for that. Lake, contact me. Same with you, BMC. Come on. Hey, you guys! That brings us to the end of another show. Like us, love us, rate us on iTunes as well as YouTube. If you follow us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and we would love that because it helps us out. And there we go. Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will. Is there a race this Thursday for Sam? A fun ride?
Yep. Spokane
Fun
Worlds
race?
will be back this Thursday, and then Badlands the next.
Next week. I probably can't race this Thursday. They won't let me.
Yeah,
'Cause my
that's
bike
fine.
probably
You
weighs
should-
more than the 5 pounds I have to lift over my head.
That's
They restricted me. So
That's good.
how am I going to
Rest
pee?
the heart.
That's a big penis
a good
joke,
one.
which
That's a good one.
I don't have.
Yeah,
we'll
we
catch
talked
you
about
next.
the 6 inches before.
Yeah, exactly. Catch you guys next week.